Ever feel like your creative well has run dry?
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, get ready for a tall glass of inspiration,
Okay.
because today we're diving deep into the world of Karen Eastland,
All right.
an artist who seems to laugh in the face of creative limits.
I like her already.
Right. We're talking musician,
Okay.
fiction writer,
Mm-hmm.
AI music producer, like, seriously,
Yeah.
this My Writerly Self document reads like a highlight reel of someone who can't stop creating.
It's kind of amazing. You see that and you think
Yeah.
it really challenges all those assumptions about like artistic focus. Like you
Right.
got to specialize, find your niche.
Right.
Eastland's over here like, hold my paintbrush. I've got a song to
And
write.
then I got to go feed the AI. So we see she's got the output of like a content machine. New song every 5 days,
Yeah.
multiple series going on at once.
Mm.
But where do we even begin to unpack this?
Well, this Girls' Night Out excerpt,
Yep.
it's a great place to start. Picture this. You've got these ancient goddesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of flowing robes, they're trying to squeeze into jeans,
Okay.
getting ready to go out to a club, but not just any club, a club for supernatural beings.
I'm listening.
It's urban fantasy, but with a twist.
Okay, goddesses in jeans. I am here for this.
Right.
But this whole bearer concept with
Yeah.
Theodora and like this brain entity,
Yeah.
that feels like we're heading into like superhero territory.
Right. And the whole dynamic between Theodora and Atis, another goddess. Super interesting. It's like
Right.
having all that power, but tied to a human life. It's got to come with its own problems, especially for a deity.
Especially one who's used to getting their way. And that thread about Elysian, high stakes.
Totally. And it feels
Yes.
like there's something bigger going on beneath the surface, like a power struggle
Okay.
that could have huge consequences for both humans and, the supernatural world.
So we've got goddesses, we've got intrigue, and a good dose of humor. What more could you ask for?
How about zoolingualists and bear shifters?
What now?
Yeah. That's what's waiting for us in Sue, the Loyal Guardian. It's an excerpt from another series, The Alternatives.
Okay, those are definitely some new ones. Zoolingualists, that's like,
Exactly what it sounds like. Imagine being able to talk to animals.
wow,
And I don't just mean understand them, I mean full-on communication.
that's incredible.
Right. And then on top of that, you've got bear shifters.
Okay.
But not the kind you'd expect. Forget big and scary. Think cuddly looking.
Oh.
But with the speed and strength of like 10 grizzly bears.
Okay, that's just cool. And this character, Sue,
Yeah.
totally devoted to Josephine, who's also a pretty big deal in Girls' Night Out, if I remember correctly.
You remember correctly.
Is this like Eastland's way of connecting her fictional worlds?
I think so. You start to see this bigger picture forming.
Okay.
Characters and stories popping up in different series. Plus, Josephine. She's also supposed to become a bearer.
Oh, wow.
Just like Theodora, it makes you think this bearer thing, it's important to her whole mythology.
So these aren't just standalone stories. It's more like this massive...
Enacted universe.
Yes, exactly.
And as diverse as it is expansive.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Take Millie and Sandra, for example. It's
Yeah.
part of Eastland's long-running series, Writing Urban.
Okay.
And get this. Teenage dragonfly shifter witches.
Dragonfly shifter witches. Now, that's something I need to hear more about.
Right. We've got excerpts that span multiple episodes, even different seasons, which tells us this isn't just some quick adventure. She's built a whole world here.
And that part about the Eye of Carly's Hope
Yeah.
has me intrigued. That sounds like a quest spanning multiple dimensions, maybe even time itself.
It definitely sounds high stakes.
Right.
And the fact that it's playing out over multiple episodes, it's more than just some random object. It's important to Eastland's whole world.
Okay, we've barely scratched the surface of her fiction, and I'm already hooked. But there's another layer to her work that we need to talk about. Music. And not just any music. She's using AI as a creative partner.
Right. And not just dabbling either. She's forming entire bands.
Wait, hold on. AI bands.
AI bands. Wrecked and Ready, Urbanetics, Cassidy, and the Castoffs. We're not just talking names here. We're talking AI collaboration in action.
Okay, back up a second. AI, composing and performing music.
Composing, performing, the whole 9 yards. Imagine the possibilities. Eastland might give them the initial melody, some lyrics maybe, and then the AI takes it and runs with it. Harmonies, rhythm, even whole instrumental arrangements.
That is next level. I have to hear this to believe it, but it makes you wonder.
What's that?
How much control is she giving up to the AI? And how does that even work, practically speaking?
Good questions. And it speaks to a larger conversation about technology's role in art. Is AI just a tool, or is it becoming a creative partner?
So Eastland's on the cutting edge here, really blurring the lines between human and machine artistry. But before we get too lost in the digital world, let's loop back to her writing,
Okay.
because I'm seeing some common threads here, regardless of genre or medium.
Like what?
Well, first off, her strong female
Yeah,
characters.
absolutely.
Adit, Theodora, Sue, Millie, Sandra. These aren't your typical damsels in distress.
Not at all. They're driving the action, calling the shots.
Challenging expectations, and they're doing it with a sense of humor.
Which is so refreshing. Even in the middle of a supernatural showdown, there's this playful energy to her work.
Right, it's this perfect blend of action, humor, and heart that makes you want to keep reading. Or keep listening, in the case of the music.
And let's not forget the way she takes these familiar fantasy tropes, goddesses, shifters, witches, and turns them on their head.
Like those teddy bear shifters we were talking about. She makes you rethink what you think you know about these creatures.
Exactly. It's brilliant. And beneath all that fantasy and fun, there's this surprising depth.
Especially when it comes to themes of loyalty, found families.
Yes.
Whether it's that trio of friends navigating the supernatural world in Girls' Night Out,
Right.
or Sue's dedication to Josephine, or even just the bond between Millie and Sandra. It's like she's saying we're stronger together.
Which is a really powerful message. Especially these days, it makes you wonder if those themes reflect something about Eastland herself.
Her own journey, maybe?
Yeah.
Or her creative process.
It's like her art is this window into her soul, even if it's unintentional.
So we've got this prolific artist juggling multiple series, experimenting with AI, creating these complex, interconnected worlds. It's a lot.
A lot to process, sure, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I am totally sucked in.
As you should be.
Right.
And we've only just scratched the surface. And here's where things get really interesting. Remember how we were talking about Eastland using AI for her music?
Yeah.
Well, there's this fascinating parallel between that and, like, the whole found families thing in her writing.
Ooh, okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It's like she's exploring this idea of collaboration
Right.
and connection, but in different ways.
Right.
Different creative spaces.
Exactly. With her music, she's, like, pushing the boundaries of what a creative partnership can even be, right?
Right.
Collaborating with AI to make something totally new.
Yeah.
And then in her writing, it's about the bonds between people, maybe from totally different backgrounds or even, different species, and they find the strength in each other.
It's like those two things, the music and the writing, they're connected by this underlying, like, belief in collaboration.
Totally.
Whether it's with, like, other artists, technology, even the characters themselves.
Yes. And she does it all with this incredible sense of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about those excerpts we read. Just the imagery alone is enough to get your imagination going.
Right.
I mean, come on, a night out with goddesses and jeans.
I know.
Or a showdown between those teddy bear shifters. Sign me up.
It's fun, but it's not just surface level. She uses those fantastical elements to explore some really interesting things about identity, power, what it means to be human, all that.
Right. Like Axiate, for example. You've got this powerful goddess used to everyone bowing down to her.
Exactly.
But then, put her in the human world, and suddenly something as simple as putting on jeans is a hilarious ordeal.
It's such a good way of showing that even the most powerful beings, they've got their weaknesses.
Right.
And sometimes it's those everyday things that tell you the most about someone.
Yes. It's like she's making them relatable. Endearing, even.
Exactly. And that's what makes her work so enjoyable. She lets us embrace the impossible, but then grounds it in these very real, very human truths.
And she does it all with this wit. Like she's letting the audience in on a joke.
Right. Like, I know this is kind of out there,
Yes.
but let's just have fun with it.
Exactly. It makes it so refreshing, you know. She's not afraid to play with those conventions.
Or flip them on their head entirely.
Like those bear shifters again. She could have made them scary, but no. Cuddly and powerful.
I love it. It's like she's saying, don't judge a book by its cover.
Or a bear shifter by its fluffiness.
Exactly. And that's a message that goes way beyond just fantasy, don't you think?
Oh, totally. It's so relevant today when we're constantly bombarded with images and stereotypes. It's like she's saying, look deeper, embrace the unexpected.
Yes. And that brings us back to her creative process, which Honestly, it might be just as interesting as the worlds she creates.
You mean like with the AI and the music?
It's groundbreaking stuff, and it really shows how open she is to trying new things, pushing those boundaries.
She's like the definition of innovation, constantly trying new ways to express herself.
Exactly. It's really inspiring to see this total fearlessness to experiment, take risks, blend art forms.
And it sparks all these conversations about the future of creativity.
Absolutely. What does it even mean to be an artist when AI is in the picture, right? How can we use tech to boost our own creativity? These are questions that are only going to become more and more relevant.
Right. It's like she's holding up a mirror to our relationship with technology, the good and the bad.
Exactly. And that's what makes her work so thought-provoking.
She's more than just an artist, she's a visionary.
Totally. Pushing boundaries, inspiring others to do the same.
Okay, so we've talked about her writing, the music, the AI, but I still have one big question.
What's that?
What inspires her?
That's the million-dollar question, right? What makes someone create so much in so many different ways?
It's like she's tapped into some endless well of inspiration.
Maybe. Or maybe she just approaches everything with a sense of wonder.
Like she never lost that childlike curiosity about the world.
Exactly. And you can feel that in her work.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
Yeah, me too.
Like I want to go make something.
And isn't that the mark of a true artist? Not just to entertain, but to inspire.
Absolutely. So as we dive deeper into Karen Eastland's world, where does it all come from? What's the source of her inspiration? What makes someone like Karen Eastland tick?
Right. It's that question that you almost feel bad asking.
Yeah,
Like you're trying to peek behind the curtain, you know?
Totally, totally. But at the same time, when you encounter art like this,
Yeah.
it's only natural to be curious.
Exactly.
I mean, goddesses in jeans, teddy bear shifters. You can't tell me you haven't wondered what's going on in her head.
Oh, absolutely. And that's part of what makes her so fascinating to dig into.
Right.
Like, we get these glimpses, right? The amount she creates, her willingness to experiment with AI and all that. But the why?
Yeah.
It's still a mystery.
It's like she's given us this puzzle box, all these intricate little details on the outside.
Good analogy.
But we're still trying to figure out how to actually open it.
And knowing Eastland, there's probably a whole other puzzle waiting inside. But you're right.
Yeah.
Something about that mystery that just keeps you coming back. It makes you use your own imagination.
For sure. And it makes me think about something you said earlier about how her work sparks all these bigger conversations. If you could ask her one question about her creative process, what would it be?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. But I think I'd want to know where she sees herself going next. You know, what new things is she exploring? What uncharted territory is she about to conquer?
Ooh, such a good question. It's like asking a chef for their secret ingredient. For me, I think I'd have to ask about the way she blends genres.
Ooh, yeah.
Is there a method to it? Or is it more like she just goes with the flow?
Both amazing questions.
Right.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll get some answers. But for now, I'm happy to just appreciate everything she's already given us.
Right. It's been a wild ride, this deep dive.
It really has.
And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling so inspired. Like the possibilities feel endless.
It's like stepping out of one of her stories.
Yes.
Your head is buzzing with ideas.
Exactly. And isn't that the mark of a true artist?
100%.
Leaving you wanting more and feeling like you can create anything. So, to everyone listening, if you're looking for a creative spark, go check out Karen Eastland. You won't regret it. Until next time, keep those imaginations running wild.